For centuries, we've seen it as just a simple board with 32 pieces. But what if I told you that hidden inside these 64 squares is this incredible potential, something way bigger than just a game of kings and queens? I mean, what if this board was actually a gym? A gym for your mind, a place where you could train your focus, get a handle on your emotions, and literally rewire your brain for peak performance. Well, that's exactly what we're going to dive into, how the game of chess pulls this off. Right, so think about it. Chess isn't just about moving pieces around. It's a full-on mental workout. It flexes those cognitive and emotional muscles in ways that have these huge effects, not just when you're playing, but in everyday life too. And really, the key here is the internal battle. Look, anyone can memorize how the knight moves, right? But the real challenge, the real mastery, is controlling your own head. It's about staying calm when you make a stupid mistake, or keeping your focus when the pressure is on. That is the real game of chess. Okay, so let's dig into that first part, mastering your inner state. Chess is just an amazing training ground for this stuff, for the skills that kind of run the show in our heads. Psychologists have a name for them, our executive functions. You can think of them as the CEO of your brain. So, what are executive functions? Well, they're basically the skills that let you plan things out, stay focused, and juggle a bunch of different tasks at once. It's your ability to not give in to impulses and to just stay on track. And honestly, chess is one of the best trainers for these skills, bar none. Think about it. Every single game, you're forced to deal with frustration when your brilliant plan falls apart. Chess teaches you to fight that urge to just lash out with a quick emotional move. You learn the real power of patience, of just slowly building up your advantage. And maybe most importantly, you build resilience. You learn how to take a loss and actually learn something from it. It's a pretty simple but powerful lesson, right? The game is always rewarding you for being thoughtful and patient, and it absolutely punishes you for those knee-jerk emotional reactions. This isn't just some abstract mental exercise, it's like emotional conditioning. And trust me, that pays off in a huge way, way beyond the 64 squares. But here's a wild thought. What if all that conditioning actually physically changes your brain? Let's take a look at the science and see what's really going on inside the mind of a chess expert. This all comes down to something called neuroplasticity. It's this really cool idea that your brain isn't just set in stone. It can actually adapt and rewire itself based on what you do and experience. And it turns out the intense focus and constant challenge you get from chess, that's the perfect recipe for kicking this amazing process into high gear. So researchers were super curious to see this in action. They got a bunch of beginners and professional chess players and took a peek inside their brains. And what they found? It was fascinating. A beginner's brain, the activity's kind of rigid, stuck in its ways. But an expert's brain, whoa. It's incredibly fluid, super dynamic. It can switch between different mental states almost instantly. And you can literally see the difference in these fMRI scans. That brain on the right, the pro's brain, it's just lighting up all over the place in these complex patterns. It's exploring what scientists call metastates. Here's a good way to think about it. It's like a master musician who can just flow between really complex chords, while the beginner is just trying to hit one note right. The expert's brain is just more agile. It's got more moves. And get this, you can actually put a number on this agility. The pros showed a 21% increase in their brain's dynamic activity. Basically, their brains are covering way more ground neurologically speaking. They're just getting a way better mental workout, and that leads to thinking that's more efficient and way more flexible. Now, this kind of supercharged thinking isn't just good for finding a checkmate. Oh no, these are skills that you can take right off the board and into the real world, especially in the high-stakes game of business. You can literally play business like a grandmaster. Thinking several moves ahead? That's just anticipating market trends. Making a strategic sacrifice? That could be killing a project that's not working to pour resources into one that is. And of course, just like in chess, knowing your competition and keeping a cool head under pressure, that's absolutely critical if you want to make smart, logical decisions that lead to a win. There's a great quote from Forbes that really nails it. It says, "Chess is a masterclass in strategy and adaptability." It really does teach you how to see the big picture and execute a long-term plan, whether your opponent is sitting across a chessboard or across the market. But the benefits of chess go even deeper than your career. What about the ultimate long-term strategy? protecting your brain and your cognitive health as you get older. This is a really big deal. So many drug treatments for things like dementia have turned out to be unsafe or just not very effective. So scientists are scrambling to find other ways to help. And guess what's emerging as a top contender? Yep, the intense mental workout you get from chess. It's being seen as a powerful way to promote brain health and build up something called cognitive reserve. So you might be asking, why chess? What makes it so special? Well, it just kind of checks all the boxes. For one, it's safe and really practical. It's also a fun challenge, and you get that social connection, which is huge. Plus, with today's tech, you can play against an AI that's perfectly matched to your skill level. It's just an incredible tool for keeping your mind sharp. And this isn't just a fringe idea, the scientific community is really getting behind this. Researchers are now actively recommending that places like senior centers start using chess as a practical, super low-cost way to help fight cognitive decline. I mean, that's a huge testament to how powerful and lasting the benefits of this game really are. So when you step back and look at it all, it's pretty incredible, right? Those 64 squares, they hold an entire world of personal development. The game takes you on this journey from the heat of the moment, that internal battle for emotional control, all the way to a lifelong strategy for building a mind that's more resilient, more dynamic, and just plain healthier. So at the end of the day, chess is so much more than a hobby. It's really a toolkit for life. It's training your discipline, it's rewiring your brain to think better, it's sharpening your strategic instincts, and it's helping protect that mind for the long haul. It's truly one of the most powerful and accessible tools for self-improvement ever created, and it's just been hiding in plain sight all this time. The board is set, your clock is ticking. The only question left is the one every player has to answer. What's your next move?